Should the New Orleans Saints go after cornerback, all pro Jaire Alexander? You're doggone right they should.
Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast. Please subscribe to our channel.
All I gotta say is, who that?
Hey, what's going on, Who That Nation? Hold on one second, man. Every time I get started on a show, for some apparent reason, my headphones always get tangled up. So I gotta detangle them. What's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, Timothy J. Jones. And yes, I am the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. So come on in, have a seat, because we have some things that we need to discuss. We're going to be talking about cornerback Jaire Alexander and him being released by the Green Bay Packers, and should the New Orleans Saints try to pursue the all-pro cornerback. We're also going to be talking about the New Orleans Saints bringing in wide receiver Gabe Davis for a visit. Who would have thought? But I really do appreciate your time. Hope everybody had a great weekend. My weekend was exciting, man. Spent some time at the pool. Took Pac-Man to the pool along with my wife. Well, they took me to the pool. We had a good time, man. Shouts out to our good friends. We were out there chilling. Sunday, man. Man, I think I slept majority of the day. I was tired. Checked out some WWE pay-per-views. But all in all, it was a great weekend, man. And not many weekends I get opportunity to just chill and just relax. But we're back here on the State of the Saints podcast once again. Excited about the next chapter, the State of the NFL podcast that's coming really, really soon to a YouTube channel near you, to a audio platform near you. Doing some work pertaining to that. I'm excited about that. But I'm also excited to talk a little bit about, as the rain starts to come down here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, about Jaire Alexander. Let's talk about Jaire Alexander, because, I have been on social media sometime today, and a lot of people have different opinions about Jaire Alexander. Jaire Alexander has played 7 seasons in the National Football League. He is a all-pro. He has been one of the best cornerbacks in football, but over the last couple of years, he hasn't played in many games. He's only played in 14 games in the last 2 years. And of course, when injuries occur and you're a Saints fan, you want no parts of them. Oh man, the injuries, man. His back hurt, his neck hurt, his shoulder hurt, man. The best ability is availability. All these different comments and all these concerns about Jaire Alexander. I think that Jaire Alexander is the best cornerback. If you was to sign him, he would be the best cornerback on your team. There's not a cornerback on the New Orleans Saints roster as of right now that will be able to match up and be able to go. If you're talking about talent level, if you're talking about ability, if you're talking about skills, none of those gentlemen can match up with Jaire Alexander. The only thing people will talk about is the injuries. But even though injuries are concerned, I look at it this way. All right. if you're talking about giving Jaire Alexander what the Green Bay Packers gave him, which is $17 million per year in a contract, then maybe we shouldn't be having this conversation. But if you're asking the New Orleans Saints to maybe negotiate a deal that is more team friendly and more of a prove-it deal, and if you can actually work that out with Jaire Alexander, would I say that you need to bring him to the team? Absolutely. Look, the reason why we have big concerns about certain players is not that the fact that they aren't available, it's the fact that they make so much money and they aren't available. That's all there is to it. Like, I don't understand these Saints fans out here, and honestly, some of y'all just absolutely disgust me. Like, I don't even like talking football with some of y'all because I just wonder where your logic is, where your mind is. Some people want the Saints to look like straight hot garbage. I don't know what you think that I don't know what you think is going to happen if the Saints just fail. I don't know if you think that Gabe Davis going to sell the team, Mickey Loomis going to get fired. Like, whatever alternative universe that you want to live in and believing that any of those situations are going to occur, you feel free to live there. None of these individuals are going anywhere. The reality is you can say that the Saints suck. You can say that you want the Saints to stink, but if the Saints stink, I'm okay with that, right? This is why. Because if you look at the roster, you look at the team, the expectations are so low. So why would you expect anything else? But if you are in misery, if you are in a pit of misery, why in God's name would you want to stay there? We don't want the New Orleans Saints to stay in the same situation. If you have an opportunity to be better than what you can possibly be in 2025, you go after that. I think I don't really understand a lot of you's angle. Like, I don't understand your angle. I don't understand where you're coming from. Y'all just automatically just think that Tyler Shuck is going to suck. Spencer Rattler is never going to get any better if he ends up being a starter, and the Saints are just going to be just absolutely trash, and you're okay with that. Nobody has any faith in Tyler Shuck. Why? Because he wore Nikes instead of Jordans to his to the rookie premiere. Oh, he ain't got no aura, no swag. Like, man, these are the type of people I ain't trying to talk no football with. Because if you're looking at a person's shoe game and you think that that's going to determine their ability to play on the field, then you, sir, you, ma'am, need to stop watching football and talking about football altogether. You don't know what this season is going to end up being like. You don't know what Tyler Shuck is going to end up being like, or Spencer Rattler is going to be like, or what Kellen Moore is going to look like as a head coach. Now, if those things look terrible and we're around week 9, week 10, let's have this conversation. But at the end of the day, like, dang, like, you want the team to just sit up here and just be miserable. Oh, and some of y'all, the hypocrisy of some of you Saints fans. You're sitting up here talking about the Saints sucking for Arch Manning, who you have never seen play football, but you sitting up here poking your lip out when the Saints had opportunity to get Jaire Sanders and you say you didn't want him because he can't play. But you want somebody that only played in a handful of games that you're not even sure about can play. Somebody please help me make that make sense for me. You should want the New Orleans Saints to be as good as they possibly can. If they win 6 games, if they win 7 games, then that is something that they can actually build on. Why would you want to sit up here, man? We need to rebuild. We need to rebuild. You rebuild. I don't understand. Like, do y'all understand what a rebuild is? People think that a rebuild is you're tearing something down to the studs. That's not the case. You take your draft picks. You try to get the best draft picks possible, and you accompany them with seasoned veterans that have talent and ability and skill. Allow me to demonstrate what I'm trying to prove to you, okay? During 2016, right, the New Orleans Saints couldn't stop a freaking nosebleed on defense. Everybody knows that Drew Brees even talked about and contemplated retirement after that because he didn't feel the energy in the locker room was where it needs to be, right? So the New Orleans Saints, what did they do? They went into 2017. They drafted some really good players, and they were accompanied by players like Demario Davis and players like Cam Jordan. They were accompanied with players like that on the defensive side of the football. And you know what they did? They went out there along with those veterans, along with those young players, and they turned the team around. That is what a rebuild is. It is not just tearing it down and just like you playing Madden on franchise mode and I'm going to suck one year and then all of a sudden I'm just going to stockpile draft picks and I'm just going to take this guy and take that guy in the first round. I'm going to have about 5 first-round picks. It don't work like that. You want to get young players, yes, but you also want to accompany them with seasoned veterans that can help those players learn how to be pros. While they're trying to learn and they're giving you something, you still have some veterans in their prime that can be able to pick up the slack and be able to carry the team until these young guys who are still making plays figure it out, and they too can become those cornerstone players that the Demario Davis and the Cam Jordans can be. But sitting up here talking about, oh man, you need to get rid of this guy and that guy and this guy and that guy and think that that's going to bring on prosperity, you have lost your freaking mind. You lost your freaking mind. And trying to be Nostradamus or Miss Cleo, trying to predict that Tyler Shuck is not going to be everything that you want him to be, all the while saying that the hope is a guy who you never seen really play in big-time football games in college, but his name just so happened to be Manning, and his grandfather was the quarterback of the team, and you are just falling in love with the narrative and nostalgia, and you think that that is going to save a football team. Give me a freaking break. You should try to do everything that you can to try to be competitive every single year. I'm not saying exhaust the checkbook in the process, but if you have some young players that you can believe in, if you got some young players that can come to the team, accompanied with some veterans, and you can sign some guys like Gabe Davis, sign some guys like Jaire Alexander that can be some players where you need them to be at this point, a 1 year, a 2 year deal. Guess what? Call them boys up. Like sitting up here, sitting on your wallet and thinking, oh man, I mean, him right there, he was hurt, so we don't want them. The cavalry ain't coming, Who Dat Nation. It ain't coming. If you think that a player in free agency that is not hurt, that can run crisp routes, that can give you 100 catches, is at this stage in free agency right now, you're crazy. There is not one free agent that I honestly believe in will be the leader in your wide receiver room, in your running back room. That is not happening. Those players, they come to your team in the first wave of free agency or as a top 5, top 10 first round pick somewhere like that. That's where those players come. Those where those individuals that can potentially become cornerstone players, that's where they come from. Put the Madden down, turn the salary cap on, and understand that you have to build the best team possible. If you don't, then basically you're setting yourself up for even more failure. Because who's to say that, oh, we're going to suck this year, but next year we're going to get it right? It's not happening. It's not happening, man. And some of you thinking like that is absolutely insane. My stance was every Saints fan, for the most part, understands that the Saints may not be where they need to be. But that doesn't mean that you just sit there and, like a cow. Like there's this theory that cows are so, like, I won't call them dumb. They said that the cow brain isn't developed to a point where it understands like certain logic, right? For example, like if somebody sets a cow on fire, they would just stand there, right, and burn to death, right, without even moving. They'll just stay there until they just pop, right? My what I'm trying to tell you is, if you are in a situation, if you're on fire, Or are you going to try to just stand there and just say, well, I hope that the fire just, it just continues to extinguish itself and, I should be okay. Are you going to do that? Or are you going to roll on the ground? You're going to stop, drop, and roll? Like, you're not going to just sit there and allow the fire to basically consume you. You're going to try to do something about it. If you do, then something is clearly wrong with you. Just because you're in a bad state don't mean that you got to stay there. You should always try to find ways to get yourself out of the situation. If you don't, then, you can't get mad at anybody but yourself. I don't get it, man. TJ, remember Mad TV on Fox? They had a segment called Lowered Expectations. Yeah, I remember that. There's nothing wrong with having low expectations, but you shouldn't want to maintain that status quo. You shouldn't want to have low expectations. You should always try to find a way to get yourself out of a situation that you're in. If you want to stay in that situation, then you have nobody to blame but yourself. Everybody's stuck in their minds on Arch. I just don't understand it. Like, I'm not saying that Arch Manning is not going to be a good quarterback. I'm just saying it remains to be seen. But that's what's wrong with some of these Saints fans out here. All they want to do is fall in love with logic and nostalgia and what they used to be. And this player was good for the Saints, so his son gonna be good for him. He from Louisiana, so we need to sign him. Like, man, miss me with all that. I don't care where you from. If you can ball, you can ball. Like, I get how Louisiana, works. We love our own, and ain't nothing wrong with that. But man, I'm just so tired of people being so stuck in their ways, man. And and all this stuff about Arch Manning. Like, come on, man. I'm not trying to suck for nobody. I'm sorry. Like, I ain't trying to tank for nobody. I don't feel like tank should be anything. You know what I'm saying? Should be on your mind, especially when the season ain't even started yet. If you're thinking about 2026 and it's 2025, come on, man. Come on. You don't know how this is going to turn out. Like, Tyler Shuck might show you something that this shows you, okay, man, our future is going to be bright. Or Spencer Rattler or whoever. Like, they probably can show you something and then probably don't even have you thinking about no Arch Manning. But people are just so fixated on these boys failing. I just don't understand it. Like, because you don't understand Tyler Shuck, because, he was a second round pick, or because, like I said, he didn't, like, people were really criticizing this dude because of his shoe game and his in the way he looked in a Saints uniform. Like, give me a freaking break. I don't look, nobody, like, you look at guys like Eric Dickerson. Eric Dickerson will wear every pad that you can possibly find for a football uniform and still ran for 2,000 yards. Everybody looking for swag, a tinted visor, a Oakley visor, dreads popping out the back, some J's on their feet, a towel hanging off the side of the back. Who gives a freak about any of that stuff? Can you catch a football? Can you make somebody miss? Can you get the quarterback on the ground? I don't care if you got a visor on. I don't care if you got on eye black. I don't care if you ain't no eye black. I don't care if your eye black look like John Randall. I don't care what you got on. The fact is, you want to make sure that you can ball. And if you can ball, holler at me. Some of y'all worried about the wrong stuff, man. Some Jordans, a picture. Oh, man, look how long it took him to throw that football on a highlight tape and running with the narrative, man. We gonna stink. Practice about 3 hours. They show you one clip from practice in a 3-hour practice, and all of a sudden all hope is lost. Man, come on, man. These boys ain't play a game yet. They ain't play a game. I don't know what this season is going to turn out to be, but I don't understand the angle. Like, what do you get from being negative for a season that just started? What do you want to be ahead of the curve so you can sit on a show at around week 5, week 6 if the Saints aren't doing it? I told you. So what is you telling us going to benefit the football team? What, you can walk around, you right? Because honestly, I can tell you, I done 1,800 shows, and I can tell you by now, nobody really cares about what you think, really. They don't care, man, for the most part. Or they probably care for a minute, and then they're going to move on to something else. So you can pump your chest out, boy, maybe about 5-6 hours, maybe for a day, maybe for a week. After that, nobody cares. You should want this team to try to be the best they can possibly be and go into 2025 trying to win something. Because, I mean, at the beginning of the season, you thinking about tanking? Man, you worry about the wrong thing, man. You worry about the wrong thing. Like, some of y'all Saints fans need to get it together, man. Like, I can understand, like, if in the middle of the season things ain't going right and being down, trust me, and believe me, go back into the archives, you'll see. But when the season starts, my mind, whatever was going on last season is completely gone. I ain't trying to, like, I get it. Some people like to stay ahead of the curve. I know that we live in this reactionary world, the world of hyperbole, the world of hot takes. People want to be right. I want to be right. You know what I'm saying? I know people want to be right. At the end of the day, I don't want to be right at the expense of my team stinking. But some of y'all just want to be, like, I guess, like ahead of the curve, man. Like, come on, man. We don't even know what this season is going to look like yet. I'm trying to find the best. I'm trying to see the best team possible, the best product that I possibly can on the field. But Jaire Alexander, I'll go back and and read you all a little bit of his stats. So he started his career in 2018. He had 66 tackles, 11 pass deflections, and an interception. His best season came in 2019, where he had 51 tackles, 17 pass deflections, and 2 interceptions. But even this is the most incredible thing about it. Even though he started in 14 games, he still had 27 tackles and 5 pass deflections. You have guys who play a whole season don't have 5 pass deflections. In 2024, he only played in 7 games. He had 16 tackles, 7 pass defended, and 2 interceptions and 1 return for a touchdown. Throughout his career, he had 287 combined tackles, 229 solo, 46 assists, 1.5 sacks, 1 safety, 70 pass deflections, 12 interceptions, and 1 defensive touchdown to his name. So, I know that, like I said, the biggest issue people have is the 14 games. I don't know what. All right, I don't know exactly what happened with that joint. I don't know what happened. Look like the reason I started so late for those that were here early. I don't know what's going on with StreamYard, man. I had like such a hard time. I had such a hard time trying to get my video to work. I actually had to get in touch with technical support. So I don't know if they having issues. They said that they fixed them. So I apologize for that. Says TJ over there going through the matrix. Says the Saints got TJ too. Yeah, man. Look, but all I'm saying is I don't know what the last thing y'all heard, but he had 287 combined tackles, 46 assists, 12 interceptions, and throughout his career. So my thing is, like, why wouldn't you want to bring that to the team? You're not saying or trying to bring in a guy who is all pro that's demanding a whole bunch of money. If you can get him on a prove it deal, if you can actually get him on a deal that is actually team friendly, why the heck not? I don't get it. I don't understand why the heck not. But let's go ahead and move on. Talk a little bit about wide receiver Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis is scheduled to visit the New Orleans Saints. I don't know the exact date that he's supposed to come. I don't know if he's been there or not. But Gabe Davis, they got him at 6'2", 225 pounds. He started his career with the Buffalo Bills. Recently, he signed a contract with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He ended up, missing the majority of the season with a torn meniscus last season. He had his career lows. He had 2 touchdowns. I believe he had like 25 receptions last season. And, now he's working himself back. And according to reports, Gabe Davis is not looking for a big payday. The Jacksonville Jaguars released him but they still owe him a good amount of money. So Gabe Davis is looking for more of a prove-it deal, a team-friendly deal, because the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to pay him handsomely this season in 2025. This is what I'm saying. I said this on a few shows back that I feel like Gabe Davis checks all the boxes. Gabe Davis just makes sense to me. He's a guy that's played in some big games. He's a guy that's a big target. He's a guy that's a red zone threat. You already got your number one, number two receivers. You combine him inside of your wide receiver room, he can make some noise. So I don't get why anybody would want Gabe Davis on the team. It goes back to me believing that some of you just think that, a 1,700-yard receiver is somewhere in free agency. Well, good luck with that around this time of the year. You don't need that. If you believe in Rashid Shaheed like you say you do, if you believe in Chris Olave like you say you do, if you believe in Brandon Cooks or some of these other wide receivers, Bub Mean season, some of y'all talking about, it shouldn't matter by you adding a team-friendly guy in Gabe Davis to your team. Gabe Davis averages about 6 or 7 touchdowns a year. All right. If you can get 6 or 7 touchdowns, it doesn't matter how it comes. Like he doesn't give you 80 receptions. He normally averages about 25 to 30 receptions per year. If he can give you that, that is a plus. And that is a guy that is going to make some plays. What are you looking for? Like, when you look at the free agency at the wide receiver position, what are you looking for? What do you think you're going to find? Like, you think you're going to find Megatron in free agency? Is that what you think? Is not happening. All right. Gabe Davis can check the boxes. He can be that big target. He can be that guy you can line up in a slot on third down, move the chains. He's a guy that can be a red zone threat, get open in a red zone, get you those points. That is what you need. And if he can bring that to the table, sign me up. All right, sign me up. And he's not going to cost you a lot. Sign me up. Yeah, Dalton, I'm not a delusional fan. TJ, history in the making here in South Mississippi, the new Buc-ee's. Oh, man, look. That boy Jared just be throwing. That man just been. My boy just brought out Buc-ee's, man. Look, ain't nothing wrong with Buc-ee. I love. That just came out of nowhere, Jared. I'm reading. Saints need to sign this. Yeah, I think the Saints got a big issue. Buc-ee's on. Look, man, shouts out to Buc-ee's, man. I heard about that. It was big. It was big news, man. It was big news, man. Like, seriously, like, look, I always stop at Buc-ee's. My wife, who is from Tuskegee, Alabama, there's a Buc-ee's like right off the off the exit when we take that Auburn exit on our way, and I stop there quite frequently, man. Like, the only thing about Buc-ee's is that it's overwhelming going up in there, man. I mean, they got about 1 million pumps. And, it just has so many different people in there, man. They have so many people up in there. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna help South Mississippi tremendously, man. It's gonna help them a lot, man. A lot of jobs gonna be had, and like I said, it's gonna be a spot where everybody gonna end up like falling into. Like, people, like, this gonna sound crazy, but people actually put in a GPS. And when they traveling on the road, Buc-ee location. So yeah, it was just fun. It's just funny. We talking about Gabe Davis. People like, yeah, man, I signed him. Buc-ee's open. I've been a fan for 35 years and still don't understand their tactics. Who that for life, Jay? Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand. I feel I understand why the morale is low, but you don't want to be in the same position. I'm Longhorn fan, but I'm not yet because we haven't seen him full time for Arch. But right now, I'm focused on this year. That's it. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm pretty sure he'll have a stellar collegiate career. And who's to say that he coming out next year? Man, like Arch Manning don't have to come out of college. Like everybody, knows that the man ain't hard up for no bread. You know what I'm saying? Your uncle paid, your two uncles paid, your daddy paid, your granddaddy paid. This man can enjoy his college experience. He ain't got to jump out of college early. And I don't believe that he will. I think that he gonna play. I think he gonna play into his senior year. He don't seem like he cut from a different cloth, man. It don't seem like like this dude ain't never really on social media. He don't really, like he's not that guy that's all up in your face, all up in the videos, right? He's kind of a throwback, right? I mean, he just focuses on football. He stays off the social media. He, does like different things, like probably for, try to build his brand. If I guess his advisors tell him it's a good idea. So I don't expect for him to come. I'd be shocked if he end up declaring for the draft after 1 year. TJ, you laughing, but Bucky's is nice. I'm not saying that Bucky not nice. It was just funny because it came out of nowhere. Like we talking about Gabe Davis and Jaire Alexander. Then we go for Bucky. Then we go for Bucky's pulled pork, right? Bucky's chopped. Here we go. Bucky chopped brisket sandwich is elite. Look at that. Look what you started, Jerry. And yes, those sandwiches are good. Those sandwiches are good, man. Like I said, it's just overwhelming going up in there. Bucky's country fried steak sandwich hit. Be in the lines forever, just seeing everyone. Yeah, man, it's just a lot of people, man. I just get overwhelmed when I be in places like that, man. I don't think I'm claustrophobic or anything like that, but it's just so many people. Like you look to the left, look to the right, people around you. It's like an overload. You get lost in there, TJ. Yeah, man. I enjoy going in there. I enjoy going to truck stops all together. My wife makes fun of me all the time. She's like, TJ loves a gas station. Yeah, I do. Because man, if I'm driving and most of the time when we travel to Alabama or we travel to Mississippi, we always drive. Like, man, I enjoy the experience, man. The open road. Man, you driving, you know what I'm saying? You accelerating, you braking, you accelerate, you brake. I know this ain't got nothing to do with football, but y'all know how we do it on the show. You accelerating, you're braking, and all of a sudden, like, man, shoot, I'll be wanting to stop. Shoot, I'll be trying to stop, man. I ain't trying to like just ride all the way through. I'll be trying to enjoy the scenery. We talking about practice, LOL. I'm like that in public too. I hate large crowds. Look, man, it's not my thing. But, back to the football. When it comes to Gabe Davis. I think that Gabe Davis would be a good fit for the New Orleans Saints. So hopefully they can get something worked out with him. I don't know what's going on. He's visited a few teams. I think he visited the Giants. I think he's visited the Pittsburgh Steelers and now the Saints. So I don't know. But I think that the Saints could acquire his services, to be honest with you. What is true, Saints was interested in Nick Chubb. I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. Like, man, look, Nick Chubb is a talented guy. I mean, he had that freak injury and cut him down when he was going into the prime of his career. You can tell over the last couple of years he hasn't been the guy that he was. But they have reports that the Texans were interested in him. I don't know if he signed with the Texans or not. But, I would like to see Nick Chubb on a football team. But, I'm not ready for the Saints to try to go out here, try to acquire a veteran like Chubb. I would rather see them see what they have with some of these young guys. I mean, you got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, to me, who is talented. I think that he can make plays. I think he's capable of making plays in a Kellen Moore system. I think that Kellen Moore can possibly use him like a Kenneth Gainwell or, like Boston Scott or something like that, or some of these other scat backs that he's had his hands on over the last couple of years. I think that you can use a Clyde Edwards-Helaire like that. And, you have Alvin and maybe one of these young bulls, like Devin Neal or, some of these other guys. Kendre Miller can answer the call. I like Kendre Miller a lot. People are hoping that the light turns on for him, but it goes back to what I'm saying. Like, if you're not going to put the work in, then there's not too much people can do for you. Like it has nothing to do with his talent or his ability. It's his discipline. You got to be, you got to do the little things in order for you to be successful in the National Football League. You know, you can't be like Boobie Miles around this thing, wake up in the morning and run for 200. You know, like you got to be out here. You got to put in the work. And even Boobie Miles, you know, end up getting injured. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be able to take care of yourself. You got to be a student of the game. You got to have discipline. If you can put all that together, then the sky's the limit for Kendre. Kendre Miller can be the next breakout star running back for the New Orleans Saints. Now, Kendre Miller is Kendre worst enemy, if you ask me. It has nothing to do with his skill set, his ability. It has everything to do with him wanting to do the little things. You know, sometimes, man, when you go from having a certain amount of money in your bank account, being able to go where you want to go, drive what you want to drive, do what you want to do, you know, it takes a special person to practice a certain discipline. So I just hope that he puts it together and becomes, you know, that student of the game. He takes care of his body. He puts the work in. He focuses on the little things. He, you know, comes in a little early, stay a little later, work with, you know, with his running back coach, work with the quarterback, do those things in order for him to, you know, be the best that he can possibly be, man. Get out your own way. Yeah, TJ, it's officially Chubbs went to the Texans. Yep, 1 year, $2.5 million. Yeah, I heard that that he was going to sign with the Texans on today. So I guess that happened. Yep. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, I thought so too. It says, I saw the Saints were interested in Chubb before he went to the Texans. That's why I asked. Probably was interested in him, but I don't think that would make much sense. I think you need to go with the young guys, see what you got. Saints got talent. Can't wait to see what the coaching staff does with them. Me too. I just want to see how it all comes together. I mean, I can't formulate an opinion because I haven't seen it happen yet. And I just encourage people to not formulate the opinion like that. You know, let's see what happens. I mean, it's okay to be kind of skeptical about, you know, the team. I mean, they haven't given you much to believe in over the last couple of years. So I'm not going to sit up here and say Saint fans aren't well within their rights, but dang, you know, like, man, I'm not trying to, like, you know, just sit up there and just, you know, just be Debbie Downer about every decision. Oh, it's not going to work. Like, come on, man. I don't think we need a running back. A speedster might be worth a look, but I'm happy with that room. Well, I think you got some speed out there, man. You got some guys that can move. You know, I think you got some guys that can move, man. I need Kendre to wake up. Bro was nice and smooth coming out of TCU, and he's still good. I just don't know what his deal is. Well, look, I tell you this, man. When you're in college, you know, sometimes you have that advantage of being surrounded by so many great players. It doesn't seem like you really have to work as hard, you know. And yeah, I'm not saying that he didn't work hard in college, but you like in the NFL, everybody is trying to be the best. Everybody is trying to get their opportunity, right? I mean, I'm talking about the undrafted guy who, you know, come in unheralded. You give him a running back opportunity. He's trying to knock that thing out of the park, man. He's trying to make it happen. He's trying to take your spot, right? In college, you know, you probably are surrounded by the best, you know, 5 offensive linemen in the nation, right? 4 and 5-star athletes, 4 or 5-star tight ends, right? I mean, lanes wide open. You can drive 18-wheeler trucks through that thing, right? And most of the time, like the workout regimen, the personal training, the strength and conditioning, all that stuff is like top notch. And you going up against Kennesaw State, who probably got some decent weight benches last week or something, you know. So it can be easy for you. But when you go to the NFL, you got to want it, man. You got to want it every single day. You know, you can't take it for granted. You got to always constantly work. And I just think that his biggest enemy is himself. And I hope that he's watching this right now. Like, I'm serious, man. Like, I don't have anything against Kendre. Sometimes, you know, football players' biggest enemies are what's in between their ears and, you know, the person that they look at in the mirror. Plain and simple. You got to want it, man. Nobody can want it for you. Let's see. After this draft, I gave up on the Saints drafting No big name players in the draft. Well, I mean, I don't know if you need like big time players, but you do need players that, to me, have been in some big time situations. Like maybe they not the creme de la creme, but they probably went to a school where they probably made some plays. Like I look at like Michael Thomas, right? Michael Thomas was a second round pick for the Saints. He wasn't like the top wide receiver on the Ohio State team, but he was a guy that, was a possession guy, made some plays, everybody knew the star when he was in college. I'm talking Michael Thomas was Zeke Elliott. Zeke Elliott was, like he was the guy. But Michael Thomas, he made plays. He did what he needed to do in order for him to get drafted pretty high in the second round. And when he got to the NFL, he made the best out of the situation. Michael Thomas wasn't supposed to be as good as he was. Like Michael Thomas was supposed to be a solid receiver, somebody that you can count on, but he just completely exceeded expectations. Like he was just supposed to be the big possession guy opposite of Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks gets over the top, and Michael Thomas just kind of like the possession guy, move the chains type guy. But he ended up being much more than that. Sometimes that's probably what you need, like somebody that's been there, been in big time situations, goes to your team and be able to rise to the occasion. That's a guy that's a prime example of somebody that actually wanted it, worked hard for it, understood like he had limited ability, so he's going to maximize that. And that's what you need to do. Jerry seeing we got a new medical staff. He might sign with us. TJ, if Gabe Davis stays healthy, will the Saints sign him? I heard about the injuries he had the last 3 years. Well, look, I think that, they might end up like signing him. Because here's the thing. He's not asking for a bunch of money. Like he's willing to play on a team-friendly deal according to sources. He's willing to play on that because Jacksonville owes him a lot of money. Let me see how much Jacksonville actually owes Gabe Davis, all right? Let's see how much Gabe Davis is supposed to get paid by the Jacksonville Jaguars this season, right? Gabe Davis signed a 3-year, $39 million contract with the Jacksonville Jaguars, including $24 million guaranteed. He was released just 14 months later, with the Jaguars designating him as a post-June 1 release to absorb a smaller dead cap hit of 5.7. Davis was due to receive $11.5 million from the Jaguars this year, even after his release. So he's going to get $11.5 million. He already going to get paid. He already getting paid $11.5 million. So he can actually play this season on a team-friendly deal because Jacksonville is going to pay him $11.5 million. So every Tuesday, this man is going to get a nice little check from the Jacksonville Jaguars on top of anything that he gets, right? The gas money, look, it got your paycheck and then you got your gas money. Whatever team that signs him is basically giving him gas money. He got his check. He getting his money. So he's straight. He good money, man, literally and figuratively. So if you want to get him on a prove-it deal, a 1-year deal, a renegade, if you will, do that. Get a renegade, get him for 1 year. Kick the tires on that thing. Somebody said, man, I'm gonna let you test drive this Maserati for a year, man. We had to change the tire on that joint, but you can ride this thing for a year at no cost. Where do I sign? Where do I sign? I'll just park on the right side instead of the left where that tire got replaced. TJ, I really feel like it starts with the defense. We need to get back that identifies where teams are almost scared and shaken, throwing long against us, but the offense has to be complementary to this. Yeah, I agree. Like that's a good point. We need to get back to the defense. Need to get back to the defense, but man, do they need to get back to the offense. I just think that people are excited about the offense because the offense been sleep over the last 4 years. I mean, it's been Rip Van offense around this thing. It's been sleep. And people just want this offense to wake up. Yeah, it's just the reality, Lee. I agree with what you're saying, but offense put behinds and seats. Offense makes you excited. Offense, like, put you in front of this TV. Like, the point that the defense couldn't stop traffic with a stop sign, but Drew Brees was going to throw for 350 and 3 tugs more than likely to try to compensate for the bad defense. You was in front of your TV. People love offense, man. Offense keeps people entertained. There's not too many people that really just loves a stout defense. People don't really like phone booth games like this. Like, score 9-6. Like, man, Lee, you around my age, I'm pretty sure. Growing up, man, in the 90s, man, it was phone booth type games. Running the football, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Defensive playoff games, the score would be 15-9. That would be the playoff final score. Like, people like, man, what is this? Then all of a sudden they start throwing the ball all over the place. People realize how much excitement that was. It was like the Minnesota Vikings. When the Minnesota Vikings had Randall Cunningham and had Chris Carter, Randy Moss, Robert Smith out in that joint. Them boys out there making plays. Cam Jordan, Daddy Steve Jordan out there at tight end. When them boys start putting up them points, like, everybody like, man, this is exciting. Then all of a sudden, here come the St. Louis Rams with the bob and weave. Like, shoot, the greatest show on turf. Fast forward a couple years later, here come the New Orleans Saints throwing the ball all over the place, 5,000 yards. New England Patriots almost becoming undefeated the entire season. They putting up 500 yards a game. Randy Moss, 23 touchdowns. Brady, 50 touchdowns. Like, that's when people like, man, we got to keep this thing going. That's when you start to see rules start to change so these offensive players could have the advantage. The NFL will never admit that, but that's what they want. They want the offense to have the advantage over the defense. Plain and simple. That's what they want to happen. That's the reason why every time a key player goes down due to injury, we seen Mark Andrews go down, the hip tackle. We can't do that no more, right? Because we lost Mark Andrews, one of the best tight ends in the league. All of a sudden, somebody go low on Tom Brady. He tears his ACL out for the entire season. Now all of a sudden, we can't go low on quarterbacks no more. They are trying to find ways to keep these star quarterbacks upright, these star players upright, because they make people tune in to the game. But back to your point, yes, defense does matter. And yes, the Saints defense definitely needs to be, one of their key qualities. But I just think that people are just waiting for the offense to come through, the offense to make some plays, man, scoring 40 points, maybe being in that phone booth type game, or offensive display like it was a couple of years back when they played the Giants. That's not ideal if you're a defensive coordinator. Those type of games get you fired. But at the end of the day, it's good to know that if your team goes up against a high-powered offense, they have the weaponry to be able to counteract them. If they can take a big overhand right from another team's offense, they can come back with a swift uppercut and be able to counter and make it a fight. You sitting up here with your hands, with two hands tied behind your back, and somebody just tee it off on you is not ideal, and nobody wants to watch it. Keen Arthur, thank you very much for the $5. Says TJ, perfect example of great defense with bad offense is the Giants game. When Drew outdueled Eli, was exciting to watch, but we gave up and scored 50 points. I mean, Keen Arthur, I didn't even look at your point, but that just popped into my mind, man. Absolutely. But that's not ideal. It's not. But to know that you actually have the capabilities of going toe-to-toe with the NFL's best is a plus. And that's what I think some Saints fans want to see. Well, the majority of Saints fans want to see. Brother TJ and family, what's good? Congrats to you, TJ, on your new podcast, The State of the NFL. I know you're going to do big things. I will come through and support. I salute you, brother. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. State of the NFL, man, it's a project that, I decided to start. I think that, we built a platform over here that's great, but I just want to branch out, man. I don't want to limit myself. It's not like I'm trying to, get away from talking Saints football, but I love football so much. I love sports, man. Broadcasting is my calling card. And I definitely want to expand as a brand and as a sportscaster, man. You know, like maybe it's not in the cards right now, you know, for me to be in that particular market. I want to be able to branch out, go to different games, take part in these different activities, man. And I just hope that everybody is along with me on the ride. State of Saints podcast isn't going anywhere. I still maintain and keep doing that, of course, but just want to branch out and you know, show a different side, man. Bring in some more guests, you know, bring in some more credible individuals, you know, some other podcasting hosts, some other radio show hosts, man. I just feel like it's going to open doors for us. You know, we gotta build this thing up like we did State of the Saints, but I'm excited to do that, man. I'm excited to do that, and I'm excited about the new chapter that we're going to start here very, very soon. It's just a matter of weeks before we go ahead and get started. Just want to make sure everything works out. So we definitely going to be starting that in the next couple of weeks. Says, my bad, y'all. I mean, great offense with bad defense. Yeah, we got you, man. Dang, I just made myself sound old. I've been watching TJ since I was 17. Now I'm 24. Look, man, you've been watching for a long time, and I appreciate that, man. I appreciate everybody that's been here for as long as they have. Rather, it's been 8 seasons, I think, since we started this show, or you just found us this season. I see a lot of people that comment and send me messages, say that I just found this, and I enjoy it. And I'm just glad that people found a platform, you know, and found our platform, and they enjoy what we do. Like I'm really passionate about Saints football. You know, I know sometimes, you know, I can be considered an acquired taste, which I understand that, but I love the New Orleans Saints. I love talking Saints football. I love talking NFL football. And, you know, I like to speak from a fan's perspective, a broadcaster's perspective, and feel like I got the best of both worlds because I'm passionate about sports, talking football, and this is my hometown team. Watching this team, I used to watch this team, you know, I still watch them, you know, I've been watching them since I was like 4 years old. So, you know, I'm just trying to open up a different lane for myself all the while, still have an appreciation for the hometown team. My quarterbacks that won 2 or more Super Bowls had top 5 and top 10 defenses to back them up. Imagine how many more rings Drew would have won if he had those defenses. Yeah. You know, there's a lot of times where the defense has to step in and make some plays, you know, and have won championships. Before Tom Brady was Tom Brady, you know, Adam Vinatieri kicked some field goals to make them win Super Bowls, right? Get them to the Super Bowl, you know, and he also had defenses that accompanied him in order to help him at times where maybe the offense wasn't moving in the right direction. But that's what an overall team is about. Football is the ultimate team sport. If you're playing basketball and one of your basketball players get hot, you're going to end up winning that basketball game because he probably went off for about 60 points. And all this supporting cast, they probably have 10, 12, 2, you know, but he went off. So they won the basketball game. In football, you can throw for 400 yards. If your defense can't stop nobody, you probably lost that football game. If you're out there dueling with one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and then you get the ball last, and that team has the lead, and your kicker go out there and kicks it wide left, you lost the football game, right? So it's the ultimate team sport. So, you know, it's not like any other sport. Like you need your teammates in order for you to be able to be successful. That's the reason why when we talk about how many championships he got, well, if he was in a Super Bowl and he was lighting it up, and then all of a sudden that defense came to play, or, you know what I'm saying, that offense came to play along with him, you know, like the game might be neck and neck, and it might come down to a field goal. So why is he responsible for that? Oh, because he ain't had the ball last? Like, you got to put this thing into context sometimes. That's why, you know, when people start evaluating people's greatness, they always talk about how many championships he got. I don't know, man. If Drew Brees had a defense throughout those years, like Brandon was alluding to, you know, how many championships he would have had. We know that a lot of those games weren't Drew Brees' fault. I saw this coming. Don't matter how good you are, if you continue to stay hurt, teams will move off of you. Yeah, that's true. Teams will indeed move off of you. But at the end of the day, other teams will sign you if they don't have to pay you as much. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, if we're talking about a guy and we're trying to pay him like Green Bay did, then once again, I just go back to what I said at the beginning of this podcast. If you're talking about paying him the way that Green Bay paid him, I can understand why you say I'm out. But if he's taking less money and it's more of a team-friendly deal, yes, absolutely, I'll take a chance on him. Because, look, I put it like this. Let's look at Tano Passanio. Over the last couple of years, I forgot Tano Passanio was on the team. Not one episode have I seen somebody say, where's Tano Passanio when the Saints defense was struggling? Why? Because, one, Tano Passanio didn't demand the majority of the money. You know, Tano Passanio was supposed to come to the Saints and be a solid, contributor, right? Not all pro and nothing like that, but still, he was supposed to be a key contributor. Like, nobody asks about that. Nobody cares about where you at if you're not making the majority of the money. People only start caring about where you are when you demand the majority of the cap. So if Jaire Alexander, for example, if the Saints get a team-friendly deal for Jaire Alexander, make him a starter and he gets hurt, and he give you maybe like 6 or 7 games where he's productive or whatever like that, then how much, how much money did you spend on him? How much money did you exhaust? Now, you hope that don't happen, but I'm just saying, does the production and a contract like go hand in hand, right? So to me, I feel like it's worth the risk. It's worth it. Like, based on where you are, based on your need, based on what he can actually bring to the table, and you don't have to completely exhaust yourself. Absolutely, I will sign this dude. Absolutely. You're telling me, okay, a guy who made $17 million per. If you can get Jaire Alexander for like $9-10 million a year, a 1 year $10 million deal, you want to give him that? I would. What are we talking about here? I think when people start hearing names, they think about contract extensions of 4 or 5 years. No, I'm not talking about that at all. 1 year deal for Gabe Davis? Yep. 1 year deal for Jaire Alexander? Yes. Because it's feast or famine. It's do or die. It's prime example, Chase Young. Chase Young, Saints signed him to a 1 year deal. Chase Young had to get a little bit of a neck surgery, gets the neck surgery, plays for the Saints, plays every single game the entire season, no injuries whatsoever. Saints signed him to a 3 year deal. Prove it deal. 1 year, $13 million last season. Now they signed him to a 3 year contract extension. That is what you do. If a guy shows you that he can play all games, make plays, be a difference maker, then let's go back to the table. But you coming to us after only playing 14 games in 2 seasons, hey, man, I can't pay you $17 million. Man, come on, man. Man, Dalton, that Breeze versus Alex Smith, I'm still having bad flashbacks. Yeah, that was bad. I forgot Big Pass is still on the team. He is. He is still on the team. I didn't think he was still there. Is Tano still on the team? I don't know. Is Tano? Let's see. Yeah, he still is. Man. No, he's not. No, he's not on the Saints team anymore, is he? All right, according to Wikipedia, he's not there no more. Okay, so yeah. Okay, I mean, according to this, it looked like he ain't on the team no more, even though it's saying that he is on the team. So I don't know. I don't remember hearing his name called. Anybody can verify that. I don't think he was. I don't think he's still on the team. I thought last time I checked, you were going to look at Chicago or something like that. Why not grab Alexander to bring Laddie back? Why not? Well, look, Marshawn Lattimore. Man, I would love to see Marshawn Lattimore come back to the New Orleans Saints, but I don't think that's happening. People are looking at that like him last season towards the man. Dude was injured. Now I know nobody wants to hear that, but it's just the truth. You know, like he was out there battling that hamstring injury, and he tried to give it the old college try. That's the reason why he looked as bad as he did. And I got that pretty much verified. Like, I think you're gonna see a much better version of Marshawn Lattimore this season in Washington if he stays healthy. He gonna be much better. Ain't gonna be none of this disrespectful stuff on my boy this season. A fair deal for Jaire is a 1 year, $9.5 million. I say 10. I say like $9.5, $10 million. That's about right to me. I thought someone else picked him up. I thought he played. Like I promise you, man. I've seen a report that old Passanio was visiting the Bears. So I don't know. 90 days until Saints season over. Every player to wear 90. Let's see. Tano Pasio on return from Achilles. That's back in November 2024. Bears advised to sign plug-and-play defensive end with Dennis Allen ties. Yeah, that's what I said. I mean, this was a report that I saw him visiting the Chicago Bears. So that's the last thing I seen about Tano. I don't think Tano on the team no more. Somebody verify that. Who y'all talking about? We're talking about Tano passing you. I don't want Lattimore back. Look, I think that he probably not going to return unless he comes back to retire. And yes, I do feel like he needs to go in the Ring of Honor because he's the greatest cornerback in New Orleans Saints history. Man, I would love to see Lat back, but it's Kool-Aid time now. Hopefully it is. Agree, y'all right. But man, I miss Laddie. Yeah, I miss him too, man. He's one of my favorite Saints players, man. Good dude right there. Good people, man. Dude just kind of keeps to himself, man. Nobody really, know what he be doing like that, man. Ain't on social media and all that other stuff right there, man. Just keep it 100. Solid dude, man. Like every type of interaction I ever had with him, man. He just a cool dude, straight up. And the man was not healthy. Dude was not healthy. There's not too many people I just sit up here and defend and and just talk about. Like I'm willing to I'm willing to go to war with anybody about Laddie because I'm telling you, the dude was not 100%. Like this season in Washington, I think you're gonna see a much better version of him. I'll be shocked if you don't. I'll be completely and utterly shocked if you don't see a better version. I miss Greer. He retired. What happened to him? Man, just got old. Been in the league for a long time. Started his career with your team, the Buffalo Bills. Then, came over to the New Orleans Saints. Brought some stability of him alongside Tracy Porter. That to me was the start of the start of having some solid cornerback play for the Saints. Over the years, man, you didn't really have too many dogs out there, man. But Greer and Porter were a few. Mike McKenzie, he came along towards the tail end of his career. He made some plays. And then, then you had the dark ages again, where you had Brandon Brown out there getting smoked every single time, I mean, no disrespect to Keenan Lewis, man. I mean, he had some solid games. Where he made some plays, but after that injury, he wasn't the same. TJ passing your Wikipedia page say he still plays for the Saints. Yeah, I know, man. That's weird, but I don't know, man. I don't know if he still play for the team. I'm serious, man. Like I think I pretty much know all the players that's on the same team. I don't think that. I mean, I guess he's still on the team. You know what I'm saying? I guess he is. I just don't. I just don't remember his name coming up. I don't. You have to verify that, man. Somebody verify. Somebody hit up Nick. Do he see Tano Passanio in practice? I just don't remember seeing his name or anybody mentioning him at all. And I heard them mention like every defensive end on the team. How you feel about our safety group? I think that top heavy. I think they're top heavy. Anything happens to Justin Reed, anything happens to the Badger, they going down, man. It's a huge drop off. TJ, were the Saints not impressed with Willie Gay? I don't think so, man. I don't think they were. I mean, I wasn't. I wasn't impressed. But the thing about Willie Gay, King Arthur, I think that in this defense, he probably would have been much better. I think that they probably would have utilized him a little bit different. His stature, his size, probably would have seen him make more plays. But playing in Miami, playing in New Orleans. I mean, no disrespect to New Orleans, but you can go out there and live in Miami for at least a year. They're going down TJ Creeks. Don't forget about Corey White. Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point. I did forget about Corey White. I wouldn't even mention this man if you ain't bring him up. I probably wouldn't even mention dude. I wouldn't even mention this dude, man, if you ain't bring him up. So no. But yeah, let's see. Let's not forget about Eli Burnt Apple. Look, see the thing about Eli on his last season, he looked the hype. And I know people don't want to hear this because he's public enemy number one. But when Lattimore went down, when Lattimore went down, like he played some real good football, man. But the thing about it is, it's like I don't think too many Saints fans really had nothing much to say about him until he took shots at New Orleans, and that was it after that. That was it after that. Like, y'all already know what it is. You take shots at the city, you done. So I'm not gonna say Eli Apple was the worst cornerback we ever. Nah, he wasn't. I just think there's no love lost for Eli Apple because of what he said about New Orleans, but he wasn't the worst. He wasn't the worst cornerback in Saints history. I wouldn't put Eli Apple on that list. I wouldn't. I just think that the way that what he said about New Orleans just basically puts him on that list, not because of his play. Eli riding Apple. Alex Molden. Oh, yeah, man. Based on like what Alex Molden was supposed to be for the Saints, he was a first-round pick. He's supposed to be a guy that's supposed to show up this defense, supposed to be, something better, Didn't work out. Didn't work out, man. TJ, you can check the schedule to see if I'm wrong, but if I'm wrong, correct me, but we have no cold games this year. You know what? I don't think they do. I don't think that the Saints have any cold weather games this season. Let's take a look here. Let's take a look at the New Orleans Saints schedule here in 2025. Let's go ahead and take a look here. I guess when we talk about cold, it depends. It could be cold in October, but it's not going to be like I don't think it's going to be like frozen out there. But they do have a game October 19th against the Bears. Other than that, I mean, it might be cold in Tennessee, but that's not like a ice box like Green Bay is or anything like that. I mean, they play the Jets, but that's a home game. They play in Miami. It's favorable. I mean, the schedule is favorable for the New Orleans Saints. It's favorable because, you basically are in control conditions, especially like during the time, like if you can actually do something and maybe, make a playoff push, like just listen to these games, like, teams, they say like the games are, one in November and December. Those are the games. All right, so you're playing on the West Coast against the Rams November the 2nd, right? That's inside the SoFi Stadium, right? Controlled element. The Panthers, that's not like Murderers Row out there in Bank of America. Like I live 3 hours from Charlotte. It might be a little chilly out there, but it's not going to affect you to a point where you can't, do anything or can't work your offense. Then you play against the Falcons at home. Even if you played the Falcons away, that's a stadium game. Miami, man, come on, Florida. Then you got Tampa, that's in Florida. Then you got a controlled dome against the Panthers, controlled dome versus the Jets. You playing the Tennessee Titans, that's outside. And then you got the Falcons, that's a controlled environment. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games out of 1, 2, 3. So let's see, you got 5 games inside a controlled environment and 4 games on the outside. But 2 of your games in Florida. So, I mean, that's about as close as controlled as you can possibly get playing 2 games in Florida. Back to back, by the way. You play Miami one week and then you go to Tampa. So the schedule will make us very, 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 very favorable to the New Orleans Saints if you think about it down the stretch. Jason David, my Lord, roasted chicken. Yeah, man, that's smoked turkey right there, as I like to call it. That's smoked turkey right there. Let's see. At least we won't have to go to Buffalo in November or December. Yep, that's early. You know, look. If the Saints win that game, it's a shocker. So I'm gonna just go out there and just say, man, you know, go ahead and go to Buffalo. You know, hopefully you don't take too much of a whooping and come on back. You know, but that's when the schedule makers were not favorable to the Saints because the game before that they actually got to play in Seattle. So you going from coast to coast. You going from the Pacific Northwest all the way to Western New York. So you're going from one side of the country to the other. That wasn't favorable. Win no cold games. I see Lee. Yeah, we have the second easiest schedule. I don't like to say easy schedules like that. Now that where it gets a little tricky for your boy. I don't want to say easy schedule because teams get better every single year. I'm talking about it from a controlled environment where you should be able to facilitate the football. You should be able to play your offense and your style of defense without any hiccups. Now, I'm not going to say like, oh, these are easy games because we know maybe there was a player or a couple players that was injured that prohibit teams from reaching full success one season. Those players may be around this time around. So I'm not going to. Man, we have to take advantage of that. Lord have mercy on our blood pressure for the upcoming season because it will be on standby. Yeah, you gotta take advantage of these opportunities. Man, TJ, it shouldn't matter who the quarterback will be. A true Science fan will, or I guess you mean a true Saints fan will have whichever one of them back and being the team forward to the playoffs and Super Bowl go Saints. Look, I agree with you, Phil. It don't matter who the quarterback is. I'm not even getting in those quarterback debates, man. Tyler Shuck, man, Smith Bradley, he not good, man. Look, I don't care who the quarterback is. I want to see the best quarterback go out there, facilitate the football, get the ball into the hands of the playmakers, make plays when necessary. That is what I want. I don't want none of it. I don't care about none of this other stuff that people just trying to, start some type of controversy. Look, man, if both of these guys look good, the team look good. If both of these guys have the capability of winning under Kellen Moore, you guess who wins? The Saints fans. And that's the most important thing to me. Hey, TJ, you remember the Saints secondary between 2014 and 2016? I tried not to. Most Saints fans were nervous to watch the defense take the field every week. Yeah, man, you knew it. Like, it used to be a point where, like when you have the quarterback in a pocket and then, you have the quarterback just throws the ball down the field and then the camera kind of pans down there slowly. Like, oh, my God. Like, you just knew it was going to be a big play on the other side. But, yeah, it hasn't been that way over the last couple of years. Hopefully they can maintain that type of momentum. Man, TJ, whatever quarterback they put in is good enough for me. Yeah, man, I'm rooting for any quarterback that they put in there because I would like to think that the organization, the coaching staff made a really good decision and they feel like that quarterback will give the team the best chance to win. But I want to say thank you all for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. I really do appreciate it. Much love to each and every one of you for stopping by. Hopefully you enjoyed the show and hopefully you hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Hopefully we won you over. And for those that we have won over throughout the years and throughout the months or throughout the weeks, please hit that like button to help the State of the Saints podcast grow as we continue to march forward as a channel and a crew. So make sure that you do your part. Also, check out Saints Talk with Timothy J. Jones every Wednesday, 7 p.m. on Bleacher Report. Shouts out to everybody that has followed and watches that every single week. Your support means a lot. So to see So many familiar names pop up in the chat. I really do appreciate that. Previous episodes of this show you can check out here on YouTube and Apple and other streaming platforms. Till next time, all I gotta say is, who that?
Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast. Please subscribe to our channel.
All I gotta say is, who that?
When I seen him throw that ball, I was like, oh my God.
Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast. Please subscribe to our channel.
All I gotta say is, who that?